Hi, it's Gus Cresses, author of the Clarion Handy Tools, back with another CHT educational video short. Today we're going to talk about an application called CHT Static Page Web Server. That application is included in your toolkit and it's complete, ready to go. Handy SLF SV application. First I want to take you through the application itself and some of the things you can do with it. First of all, you can run a website with this. We've been running our own website, www.cwhandy.ca, with this very application unchanged, exactly the way we have it packaged in our toolkit. We've been running our website for about 10 years. It's probably more, but it's at least 10 years. And while the application has evolved and our templates in this application have evolved, this application has served us faithfully over the years. And like I said, it's serving up our website, our web pages, our static web pages, and it also serves up our auto update files, or a variation of this server, or a server running on a different port. The exact same server running on a different port serves up our auto update files as well. So this could be a file server for serving up zips or installation files, as well as serving up HTML files and so on as your web server. And as I said, this comes shipped with the toolkit, ready to go. The idea is, of course, that you would learn from this and incorporate some of the ideas used here in your own situation. But if you wanted to run a website, both a website that exposes itself to the web, to the internet, or you can run it a website internally, as I'm doing here in this particular example. I'm running it on a router IP, of course, and so this is not visible from the outside or from the internet. It's only visible internally on our network. I've got it pointed here locally at a local directory, C web, where I've copied some HTML files which constitute the pages of our website. These are the exact same pages of our website, but I've copied them across the network into a local directory, just to illustrate how easy it is to set this up. So I copied some files into this directory. I push the start button and that pops up a click to test. I click that and there is a website. The website static pages are simple documents that you create, which constitute your website. And as you can see, this stays internal. Some of these links do go to external web locations, so if I push one of those and you see this change to a different web location, it's because I've pushed a link which is external to this particular set of pages. But this is being served up locally by this web server. Let's take a look now at the application itself. This is the app here, and it's really a three-procedure app. The main server main procedure does 99.9% of the work. This is a splash screen, and this is a demonstration UCR procedure, which is a user custom request, or it allows you to make requests of the server to do things. A remote procedure server is it's a remote procedure example. Now let's take a look at the extensions on this. So the extensions that do the work are this one, two user custom request procedures or templates, and server file handling overrides. The embed browser server template is a holding template from which the required classes, the server classes, are hooked into your application. There isn't much to do there. There's nothing to configure on that template. You simply drop it on the server. Now, before I go on with this, the intention of these demo servers that provide is to give you a starting point for your own servers, you either use them as is, the way I'm using them, or you use them as a starting point for your own servers. All CHT servers are upgradable to 4 different levels of sophistication. This is the lowest level, the static page server. The file server is dead simple. But it can be upgraded to higher level servers, to secure servers, and so on and so forth. However, I provide working examples of all of these different types of servers, and rather than you building a server from scratch, the idea is you take one of these servers, depending on which class of server you want to build, you take one of these servers and work forward from it, make a copy of it, give it a name of your own, and then work forward from that. So let's take a look at the second template in this chain. Under server configuration, you can see here that this is a server static page type 4. Now type 4 is the lowest level server. It's the simplest server. Perhaps I should have turned these numbers upside down, 1 2 3 4, going higher, but these 4 types are the types that you can build. The option type 2 has been reserved for future expansion. So there are 3 different server types. Static page server, which is a file server basically, and any page server is a file server, because pages on your website are obviously files that get delivered to the client, which happens to be, in this case, a browser. Another one is an internet data client, which is 2 Clarion apps talking to one another, delivering information from a local file. So this allows you to browse, build browsers across the web, reports across the web, that sort of thing. As I mentioned, type 2 is not, it's reserved for future expansion, and type 1 is the most sophisticated server of the bunch, and it is a web-based data application using the browser as a client. I should mention this uses another Clarion application as the client, and this one that we're talking about today is a static page server, or it's a file server. So this is configured as a file server, and the other templates hooked in here, browser server initialization controls is the template that designs this window. And once again, I strongly suggest when and if you experiment with building a server, don't bother going through all of this low-level stuff. Take one of our existing servers. If you want to experiment with a static page server, which is what I'm talking about here and suggesting you do by following what I'm talking about in this video, take this server, run it, experiment with it, point it at a web location with some files on it, some HTML files on it, the way that I'm doing here, and experiment with it till you understand it. Then move it out on an IP address which is exposed to the internet, on a port which you're able to expose to the internet, and try it again and run your website, run a test version of your website. Also, run it as a file server. You can use it as an auto update server using the auto update capabilities built into our templates. So the idea is, take this server, which is called Handy SLFSV, compile it. It doesn't come pre-compiled. It's all there. The source code is there. The templates are all hooked in, ready for you to go compile it, run it, and test it, and have fun with it. Get to know how this stuff works, and think of ways that you can leverage it into your own situation. Now, did I illustrate this server? Yes, I have it running. So once you push this start button, you've pointed it at a web directory where HTML files are located. The first thing you're going to need is a file called index.html. When you click this button, You notice there's not a page name attached to this. The server automatically looks for a file called index.html. This is not my invention. This is a standard protocol to say if no page is mentioned, then look for index.html, and that's the base page from which all of the other pages branch. And after that, of course, the page names are mentioned and called as needed, and so are the images in the pages. Anyway, that should give you enough to get going and to to test the server in your own situation. Like I said, here I'm testing it locally on a router IP, but you can test it inside your network before you expose it out to the internet to get familiar with this particular server. In other short videos like this, I'll talk about how files are delivered and about um, user custom requests and other kinds of sophisticated capabilities you can build into the server. But our time is up for this video, so we'll stop there and catch you next time.